Hello. So, it is time for us to talk about the finals match. Not finals match, but a playoffs match, not finals. We're against Harv here for the playoffs match. Now, you might be wondering, well, weren't there supposed to be 4 matches played? Yes, but the last match is kind of a weird one to commentate, because we got disconnected halfway through it. Showdown, like, the servers crashed halfway through, so we had to recreate the match. And it was just a really awkward one to kind of commentate as a result. I, tried to commentate it, and it just didn't really work out, so it was a loss, but it was kind of a weird loss as well. I don't know. It's kind of cool, because I almost brought back a sweep with Recruit Slowbro, which was cool, but it was like a 2-0 loss or something, I believe. So, but we did still make it to playoffs, or, like, bracket rounds, whatever. And we're against Harv. Their team consists of Chiyu, Rotom Wash, Serena, and Noivern that can both Terra, Berserker again, surprisingly, Glamora, Palisand, and Staraptor. So a lot of the reason why I've been doing okay is the fact that, like, my team's actually really good against physical attackers. Like, I've got Great Tusk, I've got Slowbro, I've got Orthworm. Not so good against special attackers. We had to run Assault Vest Mimikyu to deal with Toxtricity before, and now there's a Noivern as well. Not only that, there's Chiyu, the most powerful special attacker in the format. Combine that with Rotom Wash and Glamora to set hazards, and it's not an easy matchup. So, I've done what I can to make sure I don't just lose on the spot. We'll see. I guess we're going to do reverse order. Colbur Berry Slowbro, it can take a Specs Dark Pulse at full, and then Surf can almost KO it back. It's pretty close. Slack Off and Yawn, this is my backup. Like, there's nothing that can really deal with Chiyu, so we just have to pray. Otherwise, it's pretty reasonable into the matchup, so... And also my main special attacker, so kinda should bring it. Next up, Orthworm. A very strange Orthworm set, mind you, but still an Orthworm set. Sash Metal Burst. I just need this. Like, this is actually my way to take out Chiyu, like, easily. If they leave Glamora, then it's great, because I can just Earthquake it. I just try and take it out like, after it's like done setting up hazards. And with the Sash, we're hoping we can just catch something with Sash Metal Burst. Hopefully Chiyu. We've got a little bit of speed to outspeed and no speed Serena, but otherwise, yeah. We've just got to pray with Orthworm. Booster Energy Great Tusk. If we actually get the Rapid Spin off, we're in amazing shape, because Booster Energy with plus attack, and then the plus speed from Rapid Spin, we win the game. Just pretty much no questions asked. Getting that position doesn't seem too unlikely either, so we'll see, but hopefully we can just win with Great Tusk before they win with Chiyu. Cyclozar, it's been a bit since we brought it, but we kind of need to make sure that hazards are clear so Slowbro doesn't die. And also Sash doesn't get broken if Orthworm for some reason has to switch. We're planning on leading Orthworm. Knock off U-turn Rapid Spin Dragon Claw with the boots, just to make sure it can stick around. We've got a decent amount of attack investment because we can, like, there was nothing that was really trying to survive, so we may as well just run the attack investment just to do some decent damage. We're not outspeeding Noivern because we can't, so may as well go for just outspeeding Chi. Bulky Arcanine, it can take Chiyu hits. Not well, but it can, and it can also revenge with E-Speed. Light Blitz in close combat's pretty reasonable, and we've got Protect on here just in case of a Scarf Rotom. Or Choice Rotom, I guess. And last but not least, Ampharos! We're actually bringing Ampharos, the only Pokemon we haven't brought yet. Finding a Pokemon that was just good here was honestly difficult. Both Mimikyu and Bombardier, like, seemed reasonable. but none of them really provided anything into the matchup that wasn't already going to be an issue. So I figured I'm going to bring Ampharos. If they've got Palisand, then it's awkward, but to be honest, having screens and a Spadef Ampharos, just having something Spadef is going to be nice. And this is like the best mon I have at taking special hits. Like, seriously, it's ridiculous. So Volt Switch and Discharge for the pivoting. Dragon Tail, if I want to call a switch, if I've got hazards upset of my own, then Dragon Tailing things is actually quite nice. And then Light Screen to support the team, because God doesn't need it. So, as for the match itself, we can see their team here, and they choose not to bring Serena and Star Actor. So, let's get into it. So, we've got it on fast. So, they leave Glamora and leave Palace, and I'm like, alright, that's amazing for us. We can just Earthquake it, bring it down to its Sash, gets the Toxic Debris up, and I'm like, cool, I'll just Earthquake again and try and take this thing out. They go into Noivern, and I'm like, alright. I can get rid of hazards, no problem, I should be fine. I should be able to just go into Cyclozar. They're probably going to go for a Flamethrower here. So I should be safe to just get into Cyclozar and just get off my Rapid Spin, save Orthworm for Chi-Yu. They didn't even get Toxic. What happened to the hazards? Oh well, so I die, because they Terra Normal Boom Burst and it kills me. So I bring in Ampharos, it's pretty sure it specs at this point. I have to let Ampharos go because of the specs Noivern Boom Burst. And I bring in Arcanine because I'm like, well, this is probably the best thing I've got left. They bring in Rotom, as I go for a Flare Blitz, does a bit of damage. Go for the Protect because I want to Scout. They go for the Hydro Pump, and I'm like, cool. Probably should just go into... I think I go into Bro here. I stay in. No, I go to Bro, yeah. And while there's no lights... Oh, there is... Oh, right, Boots, yeah. I just go for the Surf here, because I know I can take it out, because of the Clay Light Screen. And I should live. I bring in Great Tusk, because I'm expecting an Electric type move, and I'm pretty sure at this point it's choiced. So I'm like, cool, I've got my Photosynthesis, I'm just going to go for the hit here, and they go into Palisand, and I'm like, come on, that was my speed boost. So I have to go for Ice Spinner as they get up there, Toxic Debris again, means I think they have double layers of T-Spikes up, and because I never got my speed boost, Great Tusk is going to die, which is very sad. And at this point, the game is over. I just don't have the offense. Turns out I shouldn't have switched. Orthworm could take the hit regardless, and I should have just... What I should have done was just Metal Burst the Noivern, because the Noivern... I was too scared of Chi-Yu that I forgot that just Noivern could also just win the game. So, see there, we do get to live, but I just Psychic, because, like, there was nothing else I could do. Like, Arcanine can't 4v1 this. I think E-Speed plus Psychic might... E-Speed plus Surf might have been enough, but Palisand really I couldn't break Palisand, so there was nothing I could really do. So, sad way to go out. I basically lost 2 in a row, and that was it. I was out. Yeah, that's it for the off-season. Kind of want to talk about the team a little bit. And something I've come to realize about Gen 9 Paldea Dex draft as a whole is that there's just not a lot of great special attackers. You really have to focus on making sure you get special attackers. Everything really feels like it's focused like on the physical end, and if you can pick up special attackers, then you're in great shape. So, this team had its issues for sure, but for a first attempt at Paldea Dex draft, I think it was pretty reasonable. A lot of the Pokemon on the team I'd happily use again. Bombirdier massively impressed me, for example. Mimikyu, while it couldn't really get set up a lot of the time, I think that's maybe an issue on my end. I'm not sure. Great Tusk was pretty solid, but not as great as I was hoping, I think. I think I just kind of had, like, defensive... Because I had both Orthworm and Slowbro, like, the defensive option that, like, Great Tusk provided on the physical side wasn't really something that was needed as much. So, Arcanine obviously is great. I think it's the first time I've drafted it in singles in at least a hot minute. So really happy with Arcanine, of course. Like, Arcanine's great. Cyclozar was a weird one. I don't think I should have drafted it because it used up a valuable team slot on this team, where, like, an actual Pokemon would have been useful, and it wasn't really an actual Pokemon. It was just kind of like a mini Taunty, and this team needed something that wasn't a mini Taunty. So we had a reliable Rapid Spinner and Great Tusk, so I didn't really need the support that Cyclizar provided. But I'd consider it again. Depends on whether Shed Tail is going to be legal or not for some of these leagues. I've seen Shed Tail actually legal for quite a lot more than I expected. I thought Shed Tail would have been banned, but as a result, Cyclizar is kind of more on the expensive side, and because it's mostly that expensive because of Shed Tail, I can't see myself drafting it too much. So, but yeah, Ampharos obviously came this game and didn't really get to do a lot, but I gave it a shot. I gave it a shot, but yeah, it wasn't enough, unfortunately. So that's gonna be it. Look out for some more draft stuff in the future, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.